I had a thought last night.
Oh, I love thoughts.
And
I love thoughts.
this might not even be a topic, but it could be because I was watching.
Oh.
I don't know if it's gonna be a discussion or not.
Hunt's just gonna say a statement, everybody. Just
No,
a
this
heads
might
up.
just be a
Hunter's gonna say
very.
something.
This might be a very stupid thought.
Just go ahead, say
Okay,
it.
say
But-
your stupidness.
I was watching. I forget who it was. I was watching one of the players putt. Doesn't really matter because all the putting form kind of looks the same, which is where my mind came from.
All the putting form looks the same.
Well, similarly, that we're facing the basket with our shoulders square and our arm goes down.
Did you invent a
and
new
up.
way to putt?
No, I was just
Oh.
thinking though, like our
Dang it.
sport's so young, right? Why do we accept that as the correct way to putt?
I've
Because
said this.
realistically,
I've had this take before.
because when you look at it, that doesn't look like a natural way to throw a frisbee, right?
You're talking.
right.
I did say before, and
Like who came up with who invented this way of putting?
Putting is the
that
most
we go straight
ridiculous
down and
looking
up?
thing to people outside of disc golf. Whenever they watch disc golfers putt, I feel like that's the part that looks weird.
That's what I'm thinking is like why do we putt the way that we do, and is that something that like someone's gonna come on the tour and just like
change it up. Well, think
Yeah.
about it though. The way we putt right now is so you're basically. Let's talk about the difference between putting and throwing a normal shot. Number one, you're going to fan your fingers out so that you have a cleaner release, right? So you're not trying to. You're not,
I do that with all my shots of putters.
Number two, what a lot of putters do is not spin putt. So they're taking their wrist out. You're using your bigger levers in your body so that you have less left-right miss.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing that. So that makes sense. You're also facing the basket because you can. You want to look at the basket the whole time.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, like what.
But
what
why is spin putting so bad?
because you have a bigger chance of
there's a
missing left and
wider
right.
array of
But my thing
Most
is
putts are trying to keep their miss up
sure,
and down.
Sure, absolutely.
What? Okay, give me an example of something that you could pick out of that putting that would be like game changing. I don't think like there might be some kind of like new.
So what I was thinking, right,
philosophy
is like,
to it, but, like-
in theory, the thing that makes someone good at a motion like that is just repeating it so much.
Well, let's say this though. Here's what we do know about putting. We do know about putting is there are people good enough at it that they will never ever, pretty much ever miss a putt except for their mental game.
Yeah.
No, sure.
So like we don't like putting doesn't have to get any
I'm more
better.
thinking
it's always
like
a brain thing.
Inside 20 feet, inside 25 feet for pros, it doesn't matter what your putting form's like. Like if your mental game's strong, you're not going to hold on to a disc too long spin putting because like some of the best putters in the world are spin putters.
I want to know what your development.
What
is.
I'm thinking is like once you get to like 35 to 40 feet, if you're a push putter, it's really hard to generate that type of power.
Yeah, typically you guys spin it a little more.
Yeah, exactly. So only thing I was thinking is I was just watching it and I had this like moment of like in my mind I forgot everything I knew about disc golf. And I just
That explains a lot.
I immediately went, why do they throw it that way when they putt?
Well, it's kind of like
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's just where my mind went. I was like, why do we putt like that?
I understand your thought.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I have said before with like disc golf form, I did say before, like, it's interesting that we've all accepted this is how you throw a disc the best. I wonder if someday a guy will come in with like science and like new technology and be like, well, actually you get more speed and stuff out of this. Like, because we don't measure a lot of stuff. And like putting, I'm trying to think like in the golf world, like putting is all about straight back, straight through, like to some degree. But there's like, well, there's some.
But putting golf form is very similar to hitting golf form.
What we might see is somebody develop a product that finds like the best nose angle. I think it comes down to like data. Like when people have the data to know this is the best nose angle for this kind of wind, this is the best trajectory your arm should go on. We might find a better like this is the standard way that you should putt a disc. I agree with that. I
don't know. I just had a
Because it's
moment
true. Like,
where I just looked at it and I was like,
you do see,
we look weird when we putt.
You do see
Why do we do that?
people will spin putt from their left shoulder and then people are push putting from here. And like one of those, like scientifically, is probably a better way to putt.
Yeah.
So you're right. There probably will come a day where people will more accept like this is the best way to putt, and it's because it's backed by science.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I was just
Not like, but I do also agree that like a lot of putting at the end of the day does come down to feel. But like I said with golf, like when you start getting to that fighting for every inch mentality and like looking at the deep numbers, like there are guys that make very minute changes based on very, very specific numbers.
It's also kind of like
That's something we don't have in disc
in
golf yet.
cornhole. They haven't really changed up how you throw the beanbag,
Dude.
because
Those cornhole guys that are
that
pros,
just works.
they're all.
Well, I think it's just like anything putting and cornhole. I think are very
Is
similar.
cornhole
Yeah.
the
Of just,
best like crossover sport?
Might be.
Like,
Well,
if
that's
you're-
what I was saying. Is
are
like
you
it's
nasty
just
at putting if you're a good cornhole player?
Or are you nasty at cornhole if you're a good putting player?
And like all I was thinking
Think about
though
that.
in my head was just like it's such a small repetitive motion
You're
that
just
like
a rebellious guy.
if you get good at whatever motion it is,
Right, it's gonna
you'll be a
work,
good
but is
putter.
it the best?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Though. It's like
No,
our
that's
sport's so
completely
young,
true.
so like how like
We won't-
at some point, I guess more so what I was thinking is at some point someone had to decide I'm not going to throw this frisbee a normal way. I'm going to have my arm go back and
Yeah.
forth straight at it.
Yeah.
And like what
No.
made us all accept
Literally,
that as
no.
gospel truth?
Literally,
Probably
disc
because
golf.
they were really good at putting.
Yeah, no, disc golf is literally at this point all based on what feels good, and then people seeing things they like in other people.
Because the other thing
copying
too
it.
that made me think about it, the more I thought about this, is I was like, it also is somewhat true that like when you first start playing disc golf, 15 footers feel very easy because you're not thinking about missing all
Yeah.
this. You're just tossing a frisbee towards the chains. Like
No, 100%.
very simple. Then the second you start developing putting form, your putting
suck
goes
at putting.
downhill. You suck at it.
You start thinking about
and
it.
some people like me, I think I was better at making a 20-footer when I first started than right now.
No, it's the
Yeah.
same. It's like if somebody hands you disc right now and you were just like all by yourself and you're like, I'm gonna toss that into that basket 25 feet away. You're probably not missing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But no, it's literally like
so like, why do we change
people-
the form if it's just like, I just catch
it's
it and
because
toss it, and it goes in?
it's all feel. Whereas like in golf right now, when you're like developing a golf swing, it's all numbers. Like they're like, we know the numbers. You need to change your swing to create this kind of number. You need to lower your spin rate. You need to change your attack angle. Disc golf, we don't really have that data. Nobody's looking at that. So it's all just when you're developing your putt, all you're thinking about is how does that feel and
That
did it
would
go in the
be- that
basket?
would
See,
be
the
so
whole thing
great,
I was
'cause you-
thinking about
Like,
was
that's what-
I was just looking at. This is how Paul putts, so I must need to putt like that.
Imagine if you're on a putting simulator of some sort and you throw a putt and you see nose angle, spin rate, wobble, like all these things, and you can like throw another putt and then see, oh, that one had better numbers. Like
That would be awesome because I tried to get Brody to fix my putt a few months ago.
it didn't work, man.
And by get Brody, I mean I was putting and it was so bad that Brody was like,
Well,
Connor, you got to figure something out.
He's like 6'5".
and he kept on like giving me tips, but the problem is that he's so much taller than me.
Yeah.
So those tips work for him. They just don't. And I was like, I wish that there was like this is what's wrong, not
Yeah.
like this is what seems like what's wrong or this is what works for me, but like this is the right way to do it.
100%.
So there probably will never be this is a right because everyone's different.
No,
I-
I
no.
want
So
the
like
right
some
way.
people are gonna be better spin putters than they are push putters.
This
that
is
are
the
whatever.
other thing too. Is like even with golf, there are a million different ways to achieve the numbers, right? So
Yeah.
like putting will always have different styles. However, what you do see in golf is a lot of people at impact of the golf ball look very similar because they are at the end of the day, no matter what they do in their swing, they're trying to achieve a similar result at impact. So what you might see is if we get that data, you're going to have people achieving the same thing with their putt. It just still looks different how they get to it.
Yeah.
That's what might happen.
I don't know. It was just something I thought of.